maybe leave some lies that I can tell people down in the comments. Yeah, that's a good idea. Leave some lies that I can tell people. Give me some ideas. Let's sow false narratives into the universe together. All that I can say to you guys is Merry Christmas. You're welcome. Hi everyone, my name is Katie and welcome back to my channel. If you have never been here before and you just like want to hear some bad date stories, cool, welcome. If you have been here before, you will know that like I exclusively never talk about my dating life. I do not bring it up online. I don't talk about my relationship status. I don't talk about dates. I don't talk about any of it because, and I will continue to do that after this, but I feel like it's Christmas, right? It's Christmas. I figured why not give the best gift of all and finally share these absolutely incredible stories online. I feel like I have been some sort of weird magnet for like some of the worst, well, maybe not worst, like funniest date stories. And I feel like enough time has passed. Like all of these were like a year plus ago. So I feel like there's been enough time that like these people have moved on. They have forgotten about me. I mean, all these were like a one date, like first date, never saw them again type of situation. And they're really funny. And no, but there is literally no way that anybody could track these people down. So, oh my God, I cannot believe that I'm gonna be talking about this online. Merry Christmas. Before we get into the video, before I talk about the man who tickled me, no, I'm not kidding. Before we get into the video, I wanted to mention a jewelry brand that I've absolutely been loving recently called Ana Luisa. So you guys, these earrings are genuinely some of my favorites that I own. I have been wearing them every single day since I got my first pair. And I just got 2 more of these absolutely stunning and very, very demure hoops for the holidays. LOL, they'd honestly be kind of perfect for a first date. They have unmatched quality. They are long lasting, hypoallergenic, water resistant, so you can wear them in the shower, in the rain, and they won't tarnish. They're sustainable, which is the best part. Their packaging is absolutely wonderful. Sometimes you order things for the holidays, especially right now, this is very front of mind, but the packaging is so beautiful and they're not like wasting it in these big boxes that aren't necessary. They also don't break the bank. Their jewelry for the quality starts at $39, and the more that you buy, the more that you save. And they have free and fast shipping within the US, and anywhere else is crazy affordable shipping options. I live in the UK, so I can definitely attest to this. And there is a worry-free guarantee, so there is a 2-year warranty on all of the products, which is absolutely amazing. What I love about them is their chic styles. You know, I have a wardrobe that is very classic, and I love jewelry that is like dainty, but still adds like a little bit of style, a little bit of extra, you know, something to an outfit. So if this is something you guys are interested in, please check out the link below that is going to be in the description box and in the pinned comment. You know, I don't promote brands that I don't absolutely stand behind, so I definitely urge you guys to check out that link if you're looking for, you know, a little gift for yourself or a gift for somebody later in the season. Thank you guys so much, and let's get back to my horrible date stories. Let's start off with my first like, I'll ease you guys into it, because actually this was probably one thing that you should know about me. So like on a date, I have a really hard time. I don't like rejecting people. I don't think anybody likes rejecting people. But like sometimes I will be in a scenario where like I know that like I'm not I cannot believe I'm admitting this. I will not be attracted to somebody, but like I will sit on the date and like get to know them like for a while. And I'm not very good at lying. All of my friends like kind of get on me about this because like for the life of me, I literally cannot think of an alibi. Like I will just like sit there and I can't do it. I can't do it. If I don't actually have something going on, like I feel I'm just like, oh my God, well they've spent their whole night on this. Like I can't just leave them hanging. Like we're having a nice time anyway. Like I genuinely like talking to people. But so just to give you guys an idea, like I'm not very good at getting out of dates. So this first story I'm gonna talk about like probably my shortest date ever. And this was when I was living in Charleston. All of these are from like a dating app, by the way. I didn't know what they looked like really before. Like, yes, you can see pictures. People always look a little bit different. It's like just a different thing. And attraction is weird. Like someone can be very good looking, you know, very, you know, all the things, but then you show up and it's just like, it's not there. Whatever it is, it's not there. And it's, am I making this better? I don't know how to make this less, like, bad. I feel like I'm a bad person, but it's, like, literally just, like, what dating is. You know what I mean? Okay. But so I show up to this date, the guy, I show up and I'm like, okay, like this really isn't it. But we go in, our plan was to meet up and like go have sushi for dinner. We go and we sit down and we order like some drinks and some food, and I'm just like trying to make conversation. The biggest like difference I would say between like dating in America versus the UK is like, my dates actually in the UK were like a million times better, like actually going on a date. In terms of like, in the UK, they just seem to have like a better understanding of like asking you questions. They're just like maybe more conversational, at least in the experiences that I have had. So this one was in the US, and it was just like, the conversation on most of these dates were just like pulling teeth. None of it clicked, none of it, it was just like, I was monologuing, or like the guy was monologuing, and like sometimes it just becomes that thing where it's like you're trying to ask them questions, and then I think I remember this date specifically, he was oversharing quite a lot, like after like 15 minutes, like after I had only known him 15 minutes, but this was a really long time ago, so I was probably like almost 2 years ago? It was almost 2 years ago now. Before we even sit down, this is the part, I keep forgetting to actually tell the story. So before we actually even sit down in the restaurant, he makes a comment about like parking. I just met this man, okay? Literally just met him. And he goes, oh yeah, well, I parked over there and I paid for overnight parking, you know, just in case. Sir. No. So that is actually one of the only dates where I was like, and then I sat down at the table and it was hard to talk to him, and then he trauma dumped on me, and then he like didn't ask me any questions back, which is usually how it was. So I went home. Cool. That one's like not very interesting. So then this is probably like one of the funniest dates that I've been on, and I met up with this guy, and we had so we made a plan to go for drinks, and it was like about 4 p.m. on a Sunday, which I don't know why we were going that early. I forget the reason, but I show up to the date, and like, guys, this sounds so mean, but like sometimes you just like lay eyes on someone, you're just like, this isn't it. But anyway, we go and we sit down, and we start talking, and the restaurant is like dead. There's nobody in the restaurant except the bar staff and then me and this guy. At this point, like, I'm just trying to like not to make it awkward. Like, I'm just trying to like have a conversation with this guy, like try and get to know him. Like, we're already in this scenario. Like, I've blocked off time to get to know this person. Like, yes, I'm not like super attracted to them, but like I like getting to know people. So like we're just getting a drink. Like, who cares? I sit down with him, and we're talking. I notice that he is talking at a volume that is not required for the environment that we are in. So like, if like we're right next to each other in a restaurant, like we're on a first like internet date, like I don't want the bar staff to know this, okay? So like, I'm sitting there and I'm like trying to talk at a normal volume. This man is like shouting at me, and we're feet from each other. He is absolutely shouting everything. And again, like we're going throughout the date, and he's not really asking me any questions about myself, which is something that would happen a lot. I could tell he was really nervous. Oh, I don't know if I can tell this story online. Oh, this is mean. Oh my God. No, it's fine. Nobody's gonna know who this man is. It's fine. He's never gonna watch this. So he keeps getting up to like go to the bathroom, and we've only been on this date for like 2 hours total. Throughout the date, he went up to use the bathroom. It was like at least 4 or 5 times. Eventually, after the 3rd time, he comes back and he's like, yeah, sorry, I have a problem. I was just at my urologist the other day. And I'm like, see, this is like something I didn't need to know. This is something that I really didn't. And I'm like trying to make a joke out of it, because like that's obviously like a vulnerable thing to tell somebody, but also like, why are you telling this to a girl on a first date? I'm like, oh buddy, like, anyway. So I'm just kind of dying, and I'm like, okay, let's change the subject, like just trying to pivot. And then he keeps somehow bringing it back to his urologist appointment. And at this point, like, I'm leaning in, I'm laughing, like, this is, like, he was actually, like, I had fun on this date, even though he wasn't asking me any questions about myself. It's fine. But so then, towards the end of the day, this like older couple, the restaurant had started to fill up because it was a restaurant, because it was now dinner time. And this like older couple comes from like behind us, and it's like this older woman comes and like pats this guy on his shoulder, and I'm like, oh my God, like, does she know him? No. So this older woman, this couple, had been listening to our conversation because the whole restaurant had been listening because, mind you, he was shouting the entire time. Whole bar staff, by the way, is hearing about his urologist appointment and how he's like kind of bombing this date. Poor guy. He was really nice. He meant well. I think he was just nervous, but it was very funny. So then this woman comes up and like pats him on the shoulder, and she's like, honey, you've got to ask her some questions. I think I died like right in that moment for him. And it's like, she just continues to be like, honey, like, we can all tell you're nervous. Like, you're talking very loud. She's very pretty, but you've got to calm down. You've got a chance. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm dying for him. And then she like basically leaves, and she's like, I think you two are so cute. And that was sort of the end. That was the end of the date. Like, the bill came and I was like, let's split this bad boy. And then we parted ways. But if for some reason this guy is ever watching, one of the funniest dates I've ever been on, I hope that everything's well with you health-wise. Ask people questions. I'm sure he learned his lesson. I didn't even have to say anything. It was, I didn't say anything. I just sat there and laughed uncomfortably. Okay, the next story. This one's kind of funny. So this date actually made me like delete. These are all Hinge dates. This one particular date made me delete Hinge altogether. I had been talking to a guy, and like, by the way, like my usual rule is like, I don't talk to people forever. Like, I think that's kind of dumb. Like, I would rather just get to know somebody in person. Like, I think that that's just the best way to do it. You find out, if you're compatible with someone, or like if you even like are attracted to them like pretty much right away. So like, you have to do that in person. It's like, I don't talk to these people for very long. So I'm supposed to go out with this guy, and I believe he was like a half an hour late, which like, it was all about traffic or something in his job. It's fine. It's whatever. And we had initially planned to like go get tacos. And in Charleston, that's like very casual. It's really hot outside. So then this man shows up, and it's like, I'm in like shorts and like a cute outfit, but like really casual. He shows up like fully dressed, clickety-clackety shoes, like the button up, like the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, we find out, I think I forgot my ID. I was 22 at this point, but anyway, I forgot my ID, so then we went to this bar where like they really don't really check IDs. Anyway, so we had to switch locations. I don't know why I needed to include that detail in the story, but sometimes that happens. But so we went to this restaurant that like, actually the same sushi place from the guy from the first story, because Charleston is very small. And so we go upstairs, we're sitting and we're talking, and we're about 45 minutes into this date. This man, I'm telling you, like, when I say the other ones didn't ask me questions, like, yeah, they're probably like, oh, like, what do you major in, blah, blah, blah. This man, I kid you not, it had been 45 minutes. He had not asked me a single question about myself. And so I'm just sitting there, like having my drink, just like playing a little game to myself at this point. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this guy has been sitting across from me bragging about his accomplishments for 45 minutes. He doesn't even know what I do. He doesn't even know my name. Like, I'm genuinely like, what are you getting to know about me in this scenario? Like, this is not a date. This is a monologue, and I'm attending. So I'm like already like, I'm not interested, to say the least. We get like an hour, 45 minutes, an hour into this, like after I've noticed like it's really been a while since he's asked me a question, and the whole time. And he then goes, how many people have you ever performed in front of? And so I'm sitting there like, oh, okay, well, this is an interesting question. Like, is this like a normal date thing that he asks? I answer because I did musical theater in high school, and I was like, oh, he's gonna get to know me a little bit. So I was like, probably like about like 400, like 500 people. Then he goes, oh, well, this man was 25 or 26. He goes, oh, when I went to summer camp at Yale. Okay, you went to summer camp as a high schooler to Yale. You didn't get into Yale, okay? Even if you were, anyway, it's, you just went to summer camp. Cool, great. But there's like the way he was saying it, I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to gather from this. Am I supposed to be impressed that you went to summer camp when you were 16? I don't know. And so he's like, okay, when I was with my bros, we got up at summer camp and there was a talent show and we lip synced to Ella Maffeo's Sexy and I Know It. He goes like this, he goes, whole crowd on their feet. Whole crowd. After he's done telling the story, still has not followed up on the fact, on why I was performing for people. Like, I've never felt a high like that in my life. I understand why celebrities get addicted to the fame. Cool. Great. I'm gonna go. So then that was the end of that date, and afterwards he was like, this was great, let's do it again sometime. And I was just like, I don't even know what to say to this. Like, I genuinely think it's like such offensive behavior to like invite somebody somewhere and then not inquire about them at all. Like, it's just basic manners. Like, even if you're not attracted to the person or interested in them, like, you should get to know them. Like, you've already made this plan. Cut it short if you have to, you know. I'm hoping to get better at that in the new year, is like white lies, potentially. I don't know why. Oh my God, I cannot believe I'm telling the story. Okay, then this is the last one. The one you've all been waiting for is when I was tickled under a bridge. Yes, it was under a bridge. No, it wasn't. It was near a bridge. Near the under part of a bridge. This was in England, so it's like, it's a little bit... It was less scary than if it was like in Charleston under a bridge. Like, that's a little bit different. This was actually a second date. So I had gone on a date with this guy and he was really cute, and we had a really nice first date. We had gotten to the second date. It was all kind of good. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I could really like this guy, you know, like starting to get excited about it. And he was like, oh, like, let's go to the Barbican, which is like this big sort of like center in London, which is like full of like trees and there's art, and it's, you can like walk around and like look at plants. So we were gonna go do that. But I, being a girl, I immediately like looked up this place and I was like, oh, you have to book tickets. But like, being a woman, you try to like preserve a man's masculinity. So then you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna let him like book the tickets. I'm gonna like this was his idea, this is his plan. He set the date, like, and I'm just kind of going along with it. So then the day of the date comes and he didn't book tickets. And then he texted me, he was like, oh my God, like, they're completely sold out. Like, I can't believe this. And I'm like, kind of like, okay, well, like, I knew all of this. Like, it would have taken 2 seconds to book tickets, whatever. I let it go. Like, I'm just like, it happens. Everybody, you know, makes mistakes like that. It was a Monday, to be fair to him. Like, I'm actually surprised it was booked out. We end up meeting for coffee. And by the way, this is like November. It's freezing in London and it is pitch black. I think we had a plan to meet at like 5 or 6 and the sun goes down at like 4. So it's maybe not 4 then. It's pitch black. Okay, by 6, it's like midnight. So he's like, let's go for a walk. How I've not died, I don't know. But like, he wasn't gonna kill me. Like, he was a nice guy. And I stand by that. So like, we get to this date, we get a coffee, and then we decide to like take a walk through like Battersea Park, if you know London at all. And so we started like walking around and we just have nothing to talk about. Like, it is like the first date, like, we ran out of topics. Like, we quickly figured out, and I don't know, like, the second I saw him the second time, I was like, something had kind of shifted and I was like, I don't know if I'm as into this as I thought. I don't, like, I just kind of got the ick, which can just happens out of nowhere, especially in those like first couple dates. Like, I'm already kind of not feeling it. Then we like go for a walk and it's like really awkward and it's kind of like the conversation, like, we're both trying. Like, he was really trying, he was asking me questions, like he was trying, I was trying, it just like it wasn't working. And so then we go to like sit down on like a bench. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm telling this story. And like, I would like to go home at this point. Like, I have gotten to the point where like, I'm cold, we're outside, I want to go home. Like, why am I here? And so I'm like trying to hint that I want to leave, but it's like not working. I'm like, oh, I'm so cold, like, I'm so tired. Which I know you shouldn't do that. So like, anyway, I knew that this was like a failing. So then we're sitting there and we're talking, and like, I made this awkward too, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I literally did like an impression of like my high school chemistry teacher, because I was like so nervous because of like what happened. So like, I was not helping either. Like, when I get nervous, I talk. Like, when there's something awkward going on, like, I will try to talk my way out of it. He was like, he played a sport, let's say. I'm not gonna like at this guy too hard. He played a sport for Great Britain, and he was like making a joke about that sport, about like throwing something. And he like made the joke, and then he, like, as he did it, he like put his arm around me, and I was just like I could think that he could tell, like, my whole body was just like, oh my God, stop. Like, I I never cringed so hard in my life. And then he kind of felt that and then like immediately like retracted his arm and was like he knew that like that was bad. And like I was trying not to make him feel bad about it at all. Like that was just like a genuine like bodily reaction. But then I was like, oh haha, like I was like really trying to like not make him feel bad because like that was a really bad, like there was no Riz there. I have no Riz either, by the way. So like, you know, it's just not, that would be the pot calling the kettle black. Like I have no Riz, I'm just a girl. So then he like, I don't actually remember how this happened. This is when I made my impression of my chemistry teacher. Shout out. And because I'm like, I'm dying. I'm literally dying. And then he tickled me. And I don't remember why. Because I think I just like genuinely blacked out. But like he just went like, Gucci, Gucci, go, like right here. He didn't say that, but like he said something. And then he tickled me. And then he did it again a couple minutes later. It was really funny. Not funny at the time. And then but then I went home and like after like 20 minutes on the bus, I think that like he knew, like we both knew like this was not going anywhere, but he texted me and he was like, yeah, I don't think this is working out. I'm like, you did tickle me, like that was really bad, but like that's fine. Like go, you have this one. I'm good. Those are my stories. There have been some other ones, but like we're gonna have to wait like another year for that. But these are like probably some of my best like bad date stories that were just like genuinely confusing. And I will not be talking about my dating life again on this channel until maybe I collect some more stories. Maybe I could give like, I don't know. I kind of hate dating advice because I think most of it's like kind of dumb and it like blames like the person who's receiving bad behavior for like not noticing the bad behavior. Like, you know what I'm talking about? People who are like on like TikTok, like dating. I don't know, because I'm like on dating apps and like I am out there, like my TikTok is just like full of people like giving dating advice and I'm like, this feels, I don't want this. I don't want this. No, thank you. Maybe leave some lies that I can tell people down in the comments. Yeah, that's a good idea. Leave some lies that I can tell people. Give me some ideas. Let's sow false narratives into the universe together. That feels like it's good for our community. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again to Annalisa for sponsoring this video. And then again, if you guys want to check out that link, please go to the link in my description box and the pinned comment. Subscribe, like. Lisa says to have fun. Okay.